Today marks the 43rd anniversary of the Kent State University massacre. May 4th, 1970, 4 students were murdered and 9 others were injured, 1 paralyzed, when the Ohio National Guard opened fire on the students because of their protesting of the Vietnam War, specifically the Cambodian War, which was declared by Richard Nixon on April 30th, 1970. I'm going to list off the 4 students that were killed on that. For me, it meant something for me because I was only 16 at the time, so these students were my peers. There was, at max, there was 4 years difference between those students and myself, who was attending FHS at the time. 4 students whose lives were prematurely taken was Allison B. Krause. She was 19 years old, fatal left chest wound through the heart. Jeffrey Glenn Miller, he was 20, shot through the mouth. Sandra Lee Scour, age 20, facial neck wound. William Knox Schroeder, 19, fatal chest wound. There were 9 others that were non-fatal. Alan Michelle Canfora, Dean Kaler, Scott McKenzie, Douglas Allen Rentmore, James Russell, John Cleary, Joseph Lewis, Robert Folstamps, Tom Mark Grace. They paid the ultimate price for protesting against something they knew was wrong. During that same time, the draft was reinstated, and actually St. Thomas and UNB inherited some of those draft dodgers who became professors here. But what does this all tell us? I mean, there has to be a lesson here. It's a lesson that all activists, trade unionist activists, environmental activists, have to keep in mind that regardless of who's in the category of the ruling class, if you go against the wishes with their interests, they will, by any means necessary, kill you and justify it. They can justify it by pulling out some laws or say that, oh, you're a potential threat. And that usually suffices. If we take a look at Tiananmen Square, almost 2,500 students, eradicated because they were fighting for democracy. And that's what I said. It doesn't matter who the ruling class is, whether it's communist, capitalism, corporatism, whatever. If as a collective conscious, you try to improve conditions for yourself and other members of your peers, there is a chance that you can get killed in the process, and it will be justified.
You see these bums, blowing up the campuses. Listen, the boys that are on the college campuses today are the luckiest people in the world. And here they are, burning up the books. I mean, storming around about this issue. I mean, you name it. Get rid of the war, there'll be another one.
Recently in Egypt, 900 protesters, taken out to the slaughterhouse. Bing, bang, boom, military opens up. Now, somebody gives the, commands in Kent State. The command was, right now, get down, point, fire. And we know what the results of that were. Bringing it on home. We had the G20. That had the potential of going bad. Yes, there was many human rights infractions that had taken place. So we have to always keep in mind. We can take a look locally. If the anti-fracking protesters, keep, pushing their cause, what potentials does that have? You know, right now it's only speculation, but it could end up to be another Kent State University massacre. So I close with with these thoughts. It's important to critically think about what the motives are during a protest. Well, and just as equal, when new legislations are introduced, usually those new legislation are pieces of legislations that are drummed up to be used at some point. To give you an example of how legislations, the Harper Omnibus Bill, his last one, the one that just went by, but the one from the year before, the one that introduced the internet cybercrime. That required service providers to provide personal information on their clients. We had a case here at Fredericton, where the city police were investigating a defamation of libel. But in order to get information, they approached the internet service provider, and they basically doctored a form to make it look like they were investigating a sexual offense. So one piece of legislation not related to the other, but used to acquire a mean. That is consistent. So keep in mind that if we're going to evolve as a species, we have to think very critically when we do see a demonstration, and we also have to try to calculate and figure out how those in power, whether it's government, military, or fascist regime, how they will respond. Usually it's with a dead end. Thank you.
Probably the most vicious form of campus-oriented violence yet perpetrated by dissident groups. They make definite plans of burning, destroying, and throwing rocks at police and at the National Guard and the Highway Patrol. This is when we're going to use every part of the law enforcement agency we'll hire to drive them out of Kent. We are going to eradicate the problem.